Yes, Reds, welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Happy Christmas, one and all. I hope you're enjoying yourself. We currently find ourselves in a period of no man's land. We're in between Christmas and New Year's. No one knows what day it is, what time it is. Me and Nicky, we're just solidly drinking throughout, so big him up. We're involved in no man's land, and we'll talk about that. But there is also a game to talk about on Sunday. Smash that like button, get your score predictions in, your lineup predictions, subscribe to the channel, go and subscribe to West Ham Fan TV. Big up once again. It's probably his double hat trick appearance now on the Kop TV. Nicky Hawkins, the Hawkinator, my mate. How are you, beautiful man?
I am very much enjoying Christmas. I've had a few drinks at AGT, I won't lie, but
That's all right.
yeah, I'm at that time, mate. I just keep on forgetting what day it is, and I'm so busy. I'm rushing around everywhere, trying to get everything done, but I'm just enjoying myself until Sunday. That is, we'll get into that in a minute.
Until 5:15, hopefully on my part. As I said, people, get your score predictions in. It's going to be a good one. This, hopefully, we finish the year right. I'm looking for a strong finish. But let's talk about West Ham first. I did watch bits and bobs of your game the other night in the Flynn Downs derby. West Ham away at Southampton. Jared Bowen, last minute, well, not last minute, bit of a snatch and grab, but a vital 3 points on the road. You can't turn your nose up at that, whoever you're playing. And does that give you a bit of confidence going into Sunday, your last game?
No, because I'll be honest with you, AGT, I'm watching the football, and the football is dreadful. And
you seem
even
to
though
have
we've got,
there,
I was looking at the table yesterday, and even though we've got 23 points, and like,
Nick, stop. You've just gone into like one of them blurred out CCTV cameras. What's going on here? Let me get him back out and get him in again. Is he back with us, the old Hawkinator? He must be, surely. He must be back with us. Right, I'm going to have to improvise a little bit. This is part of what happens when you're dealing with technology, unfortunately, people. It can break. Let's get him back on. No, he's still the pix. What is going on?
You can hear me, can't you?
I can hear you, but I can't.
Give me a second. I think it's my camera. I think it's disconnected from the thing. We're not live, are we?
No, we're not live. We're not live.
Right,
And we'll keep this in because it's real life, right? Technology issues. This can happen, as we know. Turn it off and on again is probably the advice that everyone in the chat would give Nicky right now.
Yeah, the camera's saying it's got a problem with the battery. Let me just change the battery.
Go on, you change the battery, and I'll get him back in when he's ready. But I'll talk on West Ham. Obviously, they've been poor this season. We're going to ask Nicky when he comes back, what he thinks of Lopetegui. How's it gone so far? These are all questions that most West Ham fans at the minute aren't too happy about answering because they do linger in that kind of bottom half of the table. Not a nice place to be, obviously. But I think they'll be all right. If I'm honest with you, I think they'll be fine. I don't think West Ham go down at all. It's just one of those kind of in between seasons when you're dealing with the former manager, the regime under him. You're trying to adapt and adjust. A couple of your signings haven't really hit the ground running, so it's a difficult time for West Ham, to be honest. I mean, the table doesn't lie. A lot of defeats this season at home as well, and he's back in with us. Did you hear everything I just said then?
Yep, and I agree with most of it. Yeah, I do. It's. I'll be honest with you, AGT. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch because everyone knows that I wasn't Moyes' biggest fan at the end of his tenure.
Say that again.
But I always said I appreciate what he'd done, but it's time for us to move on. We haven't moved on. We've made the wrong choice in the manager. You always want to give a new manager a start, a chance at the start, but it's quite obvious that the man's like out of his depth. It's right. It's difficult. It's difficult in the Premier League because it moves so fast. Everyone moves so fast. You get teams that are down the bottom 1 minute, they make a couple of signings. Look at Aston Villa, and they're back at the top. You have to keep up with a trend, and you have to progress. Well. You have to evolve as the and take the chances that are presented to you. And we've just gone backwards. We've got no plan. And everyone keeps on saying to me, "Oh, I bet you wish Moyes was still there. I bet you wish you kept Moyes." No, I don't. We wanted to move on from Moyes. We can't look at it as a missed opportunity that we got rid of Moyes, because I don't think Moyes was the right man. This man definitely ain't the right man, but that doesn't mean that getting rid of Moyes was the wrong choice. You have to aim for better than you did last year. And this man has just got no clue. And I'll be honest with you, it is awful to watch. It's worse than Moyes football. It's quite frightening at times. And I don't know how we've got the points we've got. It's just because the league is so poor this year. It's lacking real quality. There's been a lot of points picked up from teams that normally don't give up points to lower teams. But I think, and this is the God's honest truth, anyone that watched that Southampton game last night has seen what West Ham are under Lopetegui, and that is one of the worst footballing teams in the league. We cannot play football. We can't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a table. In all fairness, Nick, you are still above Manchester United, so
yeah,
fair play.
But
that's always a good thing. But I'm looking at your fixtures now. You got obviously Liverpool at home on Sunday, Man City away to start the new year off, Aston Villa away in the cup, third round, tough. West Ham, Fulham at home. Fulham are flying at the minute.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace at home, London derby. You never know what can happen. Back away to Aston Villa in the league, and then Chelsea away. Brentford at home is going to be tough, and then Arsenal away, and that takes you up to the next 6 or 7 weeks to mid-February, or about 8 to 10 weeks actually.
Yeah.
Where are the points going to come from? Because if you're saying that you've regressed under Lopetegui, you've gone even further back, it's horrible to watch. I mean, listen, West Ham always love having a little underdog story, beating the bigger team on the day. But I'm looking at the table, mate, and it's not looking good.
No, it isn't looking good. It's too tight there. I mean, I think the only thing that's going to save a lot of teams this season is the fact that there's two really poor teams in the league. Southampton and who's second from bottom?
Ipswich. Wolves down there as well.
I think it's Ipswich. I think they're more or less gone, and I think a lot of teams will be saved just by the fact that there's some really poor teams. But we go to the worst team in the league yesterday, and we were lucky to come out of a win. Would a draw have even been fair? I don't know. I don't think it would have been. The chances that they had, the chances that we give up, the lack of, I don't know, the lack of any sort of game plan is frightening. And we all said this. If you look at our fan cams yesterday, you play a Liverpool, even a Man City, even the form that they're in, and you give up them chances, you're going to get smashed. And I mean, battered. I watched Liverpool against Tottenham. I watched the whole game. And that was some silky football. That was some of the best football I've seen Liverpool play. And they've played some good football in the last sort of 10 years. They play like that against West Ham. They will be all over the place. All over the place. We won't be able to lay a glove on Liverpool. That could be a cricket score. And people laugh at me when I say that. But honestly, we give up so many chances. And if we concede early, we just collapse. And we've seen it like a few times this season. We've done it against you in the cup. We give up a few chances. You scored 5. Mate, the way we're playing at the moment, honestly, I don't know. I can't see anything less than 5-0. And I'm not joking.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, as a Liverpool fan, obviously we're looking to come and do a bit of damage. Unfortunately, you know how much I love you. I got a soft spot for West Ham, but there's a league title to be won, Nick, and we need to go and win it. And if we can start pulling away a little bit, picking up these wins, I mean, a lot of people back in October said, "Well, let's see and judge Liverpool after this really difficult run of 2 months." We've come through that pretty much unscathed, and now we're just looking to really ram it home and get that title wrapped up as soon as possible. That's the way I'm looking at it. A lot of Liverpool fans still tentative. I am putting the pressure on us to go and win this title now. So I was there last season, 2-2. Obviously, it was the game when Klopp and Salah had a little Barney on the touchline. Wasn't great to watch as a Liverpool fan. We had lost the title at that point already, but that definitely double confirmed it. So a bit of, obviously, revenge out there. Couple of stats, Nicky. I'm not going to lie to you, brother. They're not looking great, all right? But here are the aforementioned stats anyway. West Ham have won just one of the last 16 Premier League games against Liverpool. Back in November 2021, it was at 3-2. Liverpool have scored at least twice in 7 of their last 8 Premier League away games against West Ham, and that's the last 5 in a row. And Liverpool have actually lost their final league game in just one of the last 10 of the calendar year, and that was to Leicester. But West Ham unbeaten in 4 Premier League games, lasting a longer run without defeat between December and February was last season. So, you're looking to win consecutive league games for the first time since March. I did hear a little bit of a rumour last night. You can clear it up. Who's going to be suspended / injured for this game for West Ham?
Rodriguez and who else got the booking?
I heard Soler, maybe Souček.
No, Soler's just come back. So I think it might be Souček. Yeah, I think all of our midfielders over the last sort of 3 games were all one booking away from getting suspended. So we had Paquetá out last game. Soler was out the game before. Yeah, I think Rodriguez and Souček may be out, but I'll have to check because there's a lot of players on like the brink of suspensions. So yeah, so listen, I don't think it matters. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather them all got suspended for this game. We need to sort of like win the games. We're not going to lay gloves on teams like Liverpool the way we're playing. We need to sort of get them scrappy wins against Southamptons and Leicester's and Ipswich's to pick up. I honestly, I watched the Chelsea game. I watched the first Liverpool game that we played in the cup. Man City, even when they was in good form. Arsenal, we just can't stop teams from scoring. We're just all over the shop. Tottenham, yeah. When teams put us under pressure in attack, we sort of fold. It's quite scary, really. We should be better than we are with the squad we got, but I think some of these players have just given up. I think there's a couple of players that are sort of looking around and think to themselves, right, yeah, well, I've done my couple of years here. I think the good times are finished. They're looking at their next club. I think Kudus is one. I think Paquetá's been one for a couple of years. And they're our better players. So, yeah, it's a bit of it's up in turmoil at the minute. We need a bit more stability there. I think we need a manager that sort of has more of a plan who they believe in, and get the players back. Because I can see a lot of players, they're good players as well, that have sort of their heads have dropped and they've sort of given up. I don't think they want to play for the guy. I don't think they believe in the guy. I think there's a real trouble with communication. He can't really understand English. And I think that, when you're in trouble, getting that message across is speed is the key. And like I just think there's all sorts of problems going on behind the scenes. I don't think putting the man under pressure by saying every game's could be his last. I don't think that's fair. If you don't want him, get rid of him. If you don't think he's good enough, get rid of him. Why keep on giving him one more chance? It just puts everyone under pressure, puts bad vibes on the club, and it's just a bad team to watch at the minute. It's hard to watch.
Hard. Yeah, it's a bit dreary over your side of StreamYard there.
Because when you look at the, as I said, the points we've picked up, and you look at like we're above Man United, we're above Tottenham, but honestly, Al, it's a chore to watch it. It's a chore to watch it, and you can just see. Last night I watched it. That is the worst team in the league. They've got 6 points. I know they've got a new manager in that, but they are a championship team. They're built for the championship.
For sure.
Any Premier League team worth a rub, brushes them aside, and they have been.
And
we were
lucky.
Well, we were lucky yesterday to get out with, not just a win, but we could have lost that by 4 or 5, like we did at Leicester. We've got a bad balance at the minute. There's too much discontent. I don't think we're not a team. We've got some good individuals, but we need to, we need someone to bring the team together. And at the moment, it's dangerous with the lack of pace we've got, the lack of determination. The heads are down. I don't think they believe in what they're playing for. I just think it's a bad vibe at the minute at the club. And Yeah, I know it sounds all doom and gloom, but every now and then they come up with a result, like the Newcastle result. It
Yeah,
looked like an organised performance, and you think, right, maybe they've sort of going to kick on from here, and it just goes backwards every time. And like, I know we've got the points, we probably won't go down, but it's difficult to watch. It's even
yeah.
worse than last year.
Wow, and that was some beating as well last year. What is it? Why hasn't Kilman cracked on? Why hasn't Soler kind of taken up and got Souček out of the team? Why hasn't Crescencio Somerville? Why hasn't he been scoring buckets? I mean, Fulkrug. I mean, what has happened there? It's the new
I think
signings really that
the
haven't,
the
kicked
manager's
on.
struggling to sort of sew it all together. He don't know what his best team is. We change formation. I think he's too rash with the subs. Yeah, it just doesn't look like there's a lot of work going on in the training ground and bringing everything together. I think he's working. Everyone knows what they can do individually, but you can be the best individual player in the world, but it all depends on the people that are around you. And you can see there's good players. Somerville's a good player.
Yeah,
Fulkrug, I think he looks handy. He's just come back. Bowen's obviously a good player. Kudus is a good player. Paquetá's a good player. But you need to sew them all together, and you need to find the players around them that brings the best out of everyone. And he can't. It keeps on changing it. There's no consistency. I don't think there's a lot of confidence in being able to. He's too rash with changes. He'll make 2-3 changes every half time
yeah.
because he's
That's
getting it
wild.
wrong, and they're not working on the right things. That I don't think there's the right balance in the midfield. I think the midfield and attack they're miles apart. Everything's just wrong there at the minute. You can see it. You can see it in the play, and we'll defend well, or we'll get away with giving up chances and people not taking them. And we might have a 5-minute spell, but as soon you see it in the Tottenham game, and we saw it in the Arsenal game. As soon as you concede one, they're all over the shop. They don't know what
Yeah.
they're doing. They
The
don't know how
Arsenal
to
game
stop
for
it.
me, that was the one where it was raining goals. I mean, and I was just thinking, what is going on? 5-0, 4-0 at halftime, unbelievable. From a Liverpool point of view, obviously we got that win last night, made a bit of tough work out of it, a lot harder than it should have been against a really poor Leicester side who, really we should have been winning that 5 or 6, and they got their early goal. And they forced us to go up a couple of gears, and in the end we cruised on third gear, and we actually in the end, like I say, missed a few chances, hit the bar twice, could have been more. But we needed that, and I think the first game after the Boxing Day is almost like a bit of a reset. You go again, it's the new year, you almost want to start off afresh. And
Yep.
if we can win against West Ham and keep that momentum going into the 5th of January, where we play United, you've got Accrington in the cup. And then there's a few more manageable games rather than the really difficult ones as well. So for Liverpool, this is massive. I'm going to do a little lineup prediction, Nick. I'm going to go Alisson in goal. Trent, who obviously at the minute is unchallenged in that right back position until Conor Bradley's back. Slot did say today Konate and Bradley are both back for United game, which is great in a week. But I mean, technically unbelievable, generational, all the words you want to say about Trent, but some of the deliveries last night from corners were shocking. So he has scored against West Ham away in recent years. So hopefully he puts on a bit of a spectacle tomorrow, Trent. It'll be Gomez and Van Dijk. Gomez has been unbelievable since Konate's gone away. I just love the geezer's attitude. I think he'd die for Liverpool. Whatever he's asked to do, he does it with his head bowed. And football's made for teams, or successful teams are made for people like him, people like James Milner. Robert left back had a decent game last night, I thought. And then in the midfield, McAllister got 2 assists in the last game. I'd probably stick with the same midfielder, McAllister, Gravenberch and Jones. And then when the legs go a bit, you can bring on Szoboszlai, who just runs around like a Duracell battery for half an hour at the end and kills you with his pressing. He's a nuisance. You don't want him anywhere near you. Pop up with a goal as well. But I'd start with Jones. Gakpo, I mean, you can't really drop him. The only question is, does Jota start through the middle, or is it a Diaz, who we've seen playing in the false 9 this year? And then Mo Salah's Mo Salah. So Mo Salah is just the first name on the team sheet. And then off the bench, you could bring on Soboslai, Nunez, Jota if he doesn't start, obviously Luis Diaz, Simicast. So we're looking to go big, Nick. I'm not saying it's going to be a cricket score like you, but what I will say is you've got to go there. I'd love a clean sheet, if I'm honest with you. It's one thing we've not had for 4 games, conceded 9 in 4. So listen, if Kudos gets a run, if Bowen finds space, like, don't get me wrong, even though West Ham are down there in the table, we've seen West Ham punish us in the past and score quick counter-attacking goals. We know that if Fulcrum clicks on the night, it could be a different story. Somerville scored winners against us at Anfield before for Leeds. You know, Paqueta is a good player if he's up for it. So there's no complaint. There's not an ounce of room for any complacency for Liverpool. You have to go there, and the away record is actually better than the home record. So I'm not worried about that necessarily, but you have to almost look at what West Ham have got and go, well, if they fancy it, a lot of these players could turn up on Sunday. So
I mean,
obviously, I'm
yeah,
going for the Liverpool win still.
obviously that's what we can hope. But I'll be honest, I can't. The midfield is going to be killed. It's been killed by. I don't want to insult anyone, but substandard players. You know what I mean? Like, we've got one of the worst midfields in the league collectively, and he never sort of addresses it or tries to change it or tries to do anything different. He's just happy with that. The way we was playing long ball against Southampton. Southampton are built like as I said, like a championship team. They've got big centre halves and a big centre forward, and his idea was to go long ball. We've got, who do we have up front? Fulkrug. Look, Fulkrug's a good player, but he was winning headers, and there was no one within sort of like 20 yards of him. We're playing defensive, playing 3 defensive midfield. Look, I know it was a little bit false last night because of suspensions, but it was honestly, it's tough to watch. Like, that is, if that's his plan, I don't know. I can't see. We will never beat a team like Liverpool. You know, Liverpool. I watched them against Tottenham. They're a little bit vulnerable at the back, but they're, silky in attack. The way they played football was silky. It was like, it's a little bit frightening. And they're probably the team that are looking at the demise of Man City and thinking, this is our chance. We got pipped by a phenomenal Man City team. Points that would have won the league by 20 points before, and you missed out on titles. And there's a couple of players there that are thinking, right, they're slipping up. We're going to take this opportunity. And I can't see them slipping up against the likes of West Ham. I really can't. They won't go into it complacent. They'll go into it knowing that they have to win, because they've been almost flawless before and lost league titles. And then I don't think there's a team that are, apart from Liverpool, and I didn't expect it from Liverpool, that are going to be flawless for the rest of the season. And it's a chance for Liverpool to wrap up another league title. There's going to be a couple that are going to bow out, that have gone through these successful years, these title challenging years, and they're going to want to go out on a high. They wanted to do it for Klopp, but Man City were just a step above. And it's when it gets to the end, I can't see there. I think Man City are out of it now, but I can't see there being anyone apart from Liverpool that will have the know-how how to what's the word, capitalize on this Man City, because it's now a big opportunity, a big opportunity to sort of establish yourself as the top. Because listen, I think Man City from here, they've got a big rebuild, so it could be a few years before they get back into that sort of invincible. And it's someone else's opportunity to cap it. Like it would be Man United in years before. They're miles off of it. Arsenal are hoping they can. I think they're a little bit off of it. I think Liverpool are the ones that are sort of prepped and ready to, transition with, move a player out and move a new player in without it causing too much of a disruption. It could be Liverpool's time to sort of win 2-3 titles on the spin, while everyone else gets up to. No, honestly, Chelsea are going to be the closest, because Chelsea are an exciting prospect. But again, yesterday they should be beating Fulham.
Yeah.
They're flying. No, no. Of course, you're going to be glad they did. I think Arsenal have drawn too many games, and that they'll come unstuck. I think Liverpool are primed to do it. But you've got to capitalise. If you don't do it this year, what are
Yeah.
you 12 points ahead of Arsenal now? About 9 in front of Chelsea.
With a game in hand, I think it's 7 ahead of Chelsea with a game in hand, so potentially 10 and then maybe 9 in front of Arsenal. But obviously they play tonight against Ipswich. So I love all that because hopefully it all points to Liverpool winning at least this league, and then obviously
I,
we go on in
I,
fourth.
I
We'll see
like
what else
seeing
we can do.
teams like Liverpool succeed because, listen, I've shown my disdain for Chelsea. I don't like the way I think Chelsea were the ones that have ruined the Premier League. I don't like people that have taken the. Listen, it's not jealousy. I think that it ruins the league. They've bent the rules. Man City have bent the rule. 115 charges for financial fair play. I don't think the financial fair play is particularly fair. I think it's designed to keep the top six the top six. But rules are there, and if they bend them and they can't do it, within their means when they've got all of that structure in there and they've had that head start of pumping all that money in when them rules wasn't in place. I don't think that's the right way to do it. Liverpool have done it the right way. They've built a team over time within a good. Listen, they're going to spend money. I think to get any sort of quality, you have to spend money. But they spent money the right way. They're not a team that sort of like buys and then sells quickly when they find out it doesn't work out, and then go out and just get the next big thing, But they've built from scratch because 10 years ago, Liverpool was always going to be a top club, but they wasn't nowhere within
Of course,
in the title picture, never like seriously. And they've built from scratch, and they've done it the hard way, and they've built the most, I think, authentic and what's the word? Likeable football inside, pure football inside, without taking shortcuts and bringing in players that have been stolen from, lesser clubs that, I think have just taken the easy way out.
I
And
agree with you,
ruined
mate.
some careers when they've done that. Calvin Phillips,
100%. Look at
Jack
Calvin
Grealish.
Phillips. You look at United. That's a bit of a graveyard. Grealish. I think if we've moved on players, it's because we feel like we've got the most out of them at their age range, and we've obviously undergone such a big midfield transition last year. I mean, they're all hit, to be honest. You look now at that signing of McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and Endo. They've all been brilliant for Liverpool.
Yeah.
In spells, don't get me wrong, some have had deeper connections to the fans and they've taken a bit more time to get used to stuff. But, unbelievable signings, actually. So let's get into the score prediction. I know you said cricket score. I'm going to go, I'd love a little 3-0 because I'd love the clean sheet more. If it's a 2-0 clean sheet, I'll take it. 1-0, I'll take it. But the clean sheet to me is the really important thing today. No more sloppy goals, no more conceding and then trying to fight back. That's a bit, what we were doing last season under Klopp. We were conceding and then eventually we'd win 3 or 4-1. But this time I'd like a clean win and a clean sheet, please. And obviously we're going to be at Box Park Liverpool for this one. So make sure if you are in the city, come down to Box Park and watch it with us live in the fantastic arena that it is now in Liverpool. So I'm going to go 3-0, Nick. What about you?
6-0, 6-1.
6-1.
Honestly, it's just obviously I want my team to turn up. I want them to surprise me, but I watch them week in, week out, and any sort of pressure like that, any sort of attack that can score goals, we're conceding, and we don't know how to stop it. And he hasn't got the answers. Listen, it'd be a miracle if we come out with any points out of that. The way we've been playing, it would be a miracle, like a Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle.
Honestly, it would be. It would take you to be
asleep.
Not asleep. I won't say asleep. I think even asleep you would beat us. It would take you to be unlucky, like the most unluckiest team, to miss every chance that you had to get anything out of that. Because I just can't see a way we even compete in this game. I really can't.
All right. Well, listen, Liverpool fans in the chat, let us know, how confident are you? Is there any room for complacency? Of course there isn't. But what is your lineup predictions? What are your score predictions for this one as well? And then the day after this, it's back into DR for the weekend roundup, where I believe I've got a couple of cookings to dish out already to man like Flex, to Abby, and especially Robbie if the Tractor Boys roll up and do a madness tonight, but they won't. Nicky, as always, my friend, great to have you on. Always a pleasure, never a chore, unlike it is for you watching West Ham at the minute, so I apologise for that. Go over to the West Ham Fan TV channel. There's preview bits and bobs on there for the Liverpool game. They're going to be doing fan cams after outside, and Nicky's got one of the most authoritative voices in the game, in my opinion. You know, there's not many other people you want to be sat outside a stadium with a microphone in front of you than Nicky. So big him up. Thanks for coming on, mate, and I really appreciate it.
No, cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Take care. Smash that like button. Get your comments in. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you after the game on Sunday. Happy Christmas from me and St. Nicholas. Take care.